Okay, so the last part of day 4 might be the easiest part, and that's because you actually have to do very little math, okay? So the title is Writing Equations of Lines, and every time you click on it, you're going to get a line on a graph, and you have to write the equation for that line, okay? So remember that the most important thing on this day is, hang on, y equals mx plus b, okay? That is just the most important thing, is that equation. And some of you might remember this, some of you may not, but m and b stand for things, right? Your m, that is going to stand for the slope of the line, and b stands for your y-intercept. Okay, so m is slope, b is y-intercept. And what I've done here, you always want to start by finding your y-intercept, which is fairly easy. If you go and you look at your graph, the y-intercept is the number where the line crosses the y-axis. So there your y-axis is labeled, and the line crosses that at positive 2. So whenever I write my answer, I know, based on this, that b equals 2, right? Positive 2. Now what I've done, because you have to find the slope, because after you find y-intercept, you've got to find the slope, and then you're done, pretty much. So I've copied that line onto this graph, okay? So there you can see is my positive intercept, y-intercept of 2. And to find slope, I am going to pick 2 points, okay? On this line, I've got 3 drawn. Pick 2, it doesn't matter. But you always want to start with the point on, sorry, my eye's itching. Start with the point on the left, and you're going to do this just like you read, okay? We always count left to right. And remember, whenever we find slope, we are doing rise over run, okay? Rise over run is going to give me my slope. So m is slope, m equals rise over run. So if I pick these 2 points right here, rise is going to be me going up or down, all right? That's how I'm rising. So with that, to go from this point to this point, I have to go down 1, all right? So I know my rise, and since I'm going down, it's negative. Okay, if you move up, it's positive. If you go down, it's negative. My rise is negative 1 over, from here, I have to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I had to go over 6. That was my run. So my slope is negative 1 over 6. That doesn't simplify. It doesn't reduce. Negative 1 over 6 in the smallest form as a fraction is negative 1 over 6. So that's my m. So what I've got here is b equals 2, m equals negative 1 over 6. And now I'm going to take those numbers and I'm going to plug them in to y equals mx plus b. Okay, so if I go back to y equals mx plus b, my final answer is going to be y equals, we know m is negative 1 over 6, negative 1 over 6. Don't leave out your x. That's what you all missed a lot when we did this in class. And then we found our b is 2, positive, so plus 2. That's the equation of this line. So now I'm going to write that on Delta Math. If I go back to it, I've got y equals negative 1 over 6, x plus 2. Submit that answer. Yep, and we got it. See, and they've worked it out for you here. Slope rise over run, you get negative 1 over 6. And then your y-intercept is 2. And if you struggle with knowing if your slope is positive or negative, remember I said if it looks like you're going downhill, that's going to be negative slope. You're skiing down a hill. If it looks like you're going to have to climb it and go up a hill, then that is going to be positive slope. Okay? So, I hope that helps.